Welcome. My name's Bob Gonyea. I'll take you through a tour of NSSE's Major Field Report designed in Tableau. You can use this tool to explore engagement differences across majors, benchmark against selected groups of institutions, and guide curriculum and resource decisions. It also supports assessment by providing discipline-specific results for strategic planning, program review, and accreditation efforts. You're looking at the Start page, which includes basic information about the data on the left, and orange and blue and green menu buttons to various dashboards within the report. The 5 orange buttons link to within institution dashboards that show results only for your institution with up to 10 major groups arranged in side-by-side displays. The 4 blue buttons link to between institution dashboards, showing your students' results alongside those of a customized comparison group. The green button links to a new display of all questions and scales alongside the customized comparison group. Now, I want to acknowledge that dashboard pages may load slowly at first. The underlying database is large, including data provided by as many as 300,000 students or more from hundreds of colleges and universities that participated in the 2 most recent years. The Tableau workbook includes 12 dashboards that draw from more than 80 separate worksheets. If dashboards have trouble fully loading, try refreshing the page. Now, let's start by customizing our results on the Define Groups page. The Define Groups page has 4 sections labeled A, B, C, and D. In Section A, you can select a class level. I will keep the selection for seniors, which is the default upon loading. The total number of respondents by class is shown in the middle. Notice that these results are limited only to students who identified a major on the survey. In Section B, you can customize up to 10 groups of related majors. Groups are preloaded with NSSE's 10 default categories, such as Arts and Humanities for Group 1, Biological Sciences for Group 2, and so on. Each list of majors shows the number of respondents and a group total. If you prefer to keep the defaults, I recommend deselecting those majors where you have no respondents. Be sure to hit the Apply button after every selection. These counts include both first and second majors identified by the students. You are free to create any groups of majors that make sense for your institution, and you can include the same major in 2 or more of the groups. Keep in mind that the group total must be at least 5 for results to appear, but also that results require a sufficient number of respondents per group to produce, a reliable estimate. If a group total is less than 5, the numbers will be shown in red, as you can see here with group 10. If there are no students with any of the majors in the group, it will be blank as shown here in group 7. In Section C, you can customize student backgrounds and experiences. Filters include race, gender identity, transfer status, and so on. With each filter, the counts above will reduce, so keep an eye on major group counts to be sure that they're still sufficient. And by the way, if you plan to apply multiple filters, I recommend hitting the pause button in Tableau's toolbar. Otherwise, the dashboard will take time to recalculate for each new setting. For demonstration purposes, I'll remove students who were taking mostly remote courses and those who were missing on the question. Be sure to hit the Apply button on each filter menu. After setting all filters, remember to hit the Resume button in the toolbar. Notice that the total number of respondents is now a bit lower, but no group has been further reduced to fewer than 5 respondents. So let's leave it that way for now. In Section D, customize the characteristics of your comparison group for the between institution results. Data from all institutions with standard administrations that participated in the most recent 2 years are available. Your institution is not included in the comparison group. The number of institutions is displayed at the bottom of section D and must contain at least 5 for results to be shown. Let's restrict our comparison group to those institutions that are doctoral level with very high research activity. Now you'll see that the number of institutions has been reduced to 42. To reset the student and comparison group filters in sections C and D, select the Reset C and D Filters button. But if you need to reset all selections on the page to default settings, including the majors selected in the 10 major groups, you need to close the browser window and reopen it using the link provided in the institution interface. Let's go back to Start to see the menu of dashboards again. Notice that you can also see tabs for the dashboards along the top. Once you're familiar with them, you may prefer to use these shortcuts rather than always returning to the Start page. Let's see results for the EI and other scale summaries dashboard. This dashboard shows means and counts for the 10 engagement indicators, and also for the sense of belonging scale and the perceived gain scale. Results are shown for all majors in blue and for each of the 10 major groups identified in the Defined Groups dashboard. Notice that major groups 7 and 10 are blank because the number of respondents for each was less than 5. When you roll over the values, you can see the standard deviation and other information. And at bottom, the Student Filters Applied footnote summarizes the filters you applied on the Defined Groups page. Notice that it says we selected students who were not remote. Now on this dashboard and all the others, you can easily toggle the class level next to the label. However, we will keep viewing results for seniors. Next, let's say I'm interested in what's going on with the collaborative learning engagement indicator specifically. We'll go back to the Start page and we'll select the individual EI and other scale results dashboard. On this dashboard, the default view is for the higher order learning engagement indicator. To see collaborative learning, select it from the pull-down menu on the left. It'll take a few seconds to refresh. Once it refreshes, what you see is a series of bar charts showing the variation in collaborative learning across the major groups. Of course, groups 7 and 10 are still blank because of the low counts. Below each figure are the response frequencies for the individual items that make up the indicator. Roll over the figures and the frequencies to get additional information in the tooltips like variable names and counts. Again, the applied student filters footnote is at the bottom. The additional white space here is to make room for scales that have more items to display. All engagement indicators and scales are laid out in this format, so I won't show them all. Just select a different one in the content menu on the left side. Next, let's look at high impact practices. I'll select it from the tabs on the top of the page. The display in this dashboard shows bar charts of the percentage of students who participated in each of the high impact practices on the NSSE survey. However, for first year students, and I'll select that, for first year students, we show the plan to do results and they are in a different color. We also show the percentage of first year students who have done at least one HIP and the percentage of seniors who have done 2 or more HIPs. I'd like to note that Tableau does give you the option to download results as images, PDFs, or even PowerPoint slides. To do this, you find the download button on the toolbar at the bottom of the page and choose your preferred file format. So next, how about if we review one of the between institution dashboards? Going back to the Start page, they are in the blue buttons on the right side. Let's select EI and other scale comparisons. Notice that, like before, you need to select the content to display, but this time the scales are grouped in pairs. For example, the engagement indicators higher order learning and reflective and integrative learning are on the same display. The Between Institution dashboards show your results and the results of the customized comparison group for one major group at a time. The page is preloaded to show all majors, but you can use the pull-down menu to change the group at any time. Let's select Major Group 5, which is the business group. While it's loading, I'll point out that the list of majors and their counts are displayed in tables on the right side. There's a table for both your institution and for the comparison group. You might notice that the comparison group contains more majors than your institution. For example, this comparison group list includes students majoring in business administration and entrepreneurial studies. If this is a concern, you could return to the Define Groups page and deselect any majors in that group that have no respondents from your institution. Also see that the footnote at the bottom, in addition to the student filters, now includes institution characteristics, and you can see that the Carnegie class is listed as Doc Very High. One more thing to point out, when you roll over the comparison group results, you will now see the number of institutions, which in this case is 42. Now the last dashboard I want to show you is titled All NSSE Items and Scales. The green button on the start page. It's like all the other between institution pages with the comparison groups and so on, but it includes one long dashboard with all NSSE survey items on the left, including items that are not part of any engagement indicator or scale. It also displays figures for all the scales on the right side. Well, that's about it. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you have any feedback on the Major Field Report, please don't hesitate to contact us. There's a link to a simple form on the lower right corner of the start page. Or you can always just send an email to nsse@indiana.edu. Thank you.